beautiful Saturday morning to you from wherever you're listening. This is Oluyole 98.5 FM. Of course, we want to apologize for coming behind schedule. It's newsbit. Of course, the rain's out there. It's a cold morning. It's the 4th day of the 4th month of the year 2020. I am Oladayo Ogunbowale, and of course, you're welcome to the newspaper review in English. We call it Newsbit, and right after we have Spotted Bits, and of course, right after that we have the newspaper review in Yoruba, Eleti Ofe. We'll go straight to the headlines. No stories. We're already 5 minutes behind schedule. I have a copy of the Tribune newspaper and the Punch newspaper. So we'll pick headlines and then we'll do some short analysis, and I'll open the phone lines for you, our distinguished listeners, to contribute to the show today. Don't forget, we're broadcasting live on the radio network of the Broadcasting Corporation of your state. We're live in the studio of Oluyole 98.5 FM, and we're live on our Agility 92.1 FM, Okiogun 96.3 FM, and of course, for you, our distinguished online listeners, we're live on Facebook at Oluyole 98.5 FM, Twitter at Oluyole FM, on Instagram at Oluyole 98.5 FM. We're also on Radio Garden and mixler.com/Oluyole FM. You want to join the show today? Are you just joining? Okay, yeah, I'm Oladayo Ogunbowale, and I've already said it earlier that we have Tribune and Punch newspaper. Straight to the headlines. COVID-19 chloroquine trial in Nigeria soon. Chloroquine is coming out again. NAFDAC, and there's a rider there. How malaria drug helped coronavirus patients to recover. That's a study. And 562 die in one day in New York. 562 die in one day in New York. FG may use polling units for distribution of palliative. Sounds wise. Sounds interesting. And we have why we can't sell petrol below 125 naira. Details of that on page 8 of the Tribune newspaper. Why we cannot sell petrol below 125 naira. Those are marketers right there. And we have COVID-19, IMF to bail out 90 countries with $1 trillion. Says world economy now in recession. IMF to bail out 90 countries with $1 trillion. Says world economy now in recession. We also have Ondo community deserted over killings by herdsmen. Ondo community deserted over killings by herdsmen. Details on page 6 of the Tribune newspaper. We also have COVID-19. We received 18 samples for test on Friday. That's UCH. Doctors, nurses quarantined in Benue. We received 18 samples for tests on Friday. That's the usage. Our own diagnostic center here in Oyo State received 18 samples in just one single day. So we should be expecting results of 18 people. Doctors, nurses quarantined in Benue. Coronavirus figures across the world. Total global cases 1,056,777. Total dead 55,781. In Nigeria, we have 190 confirmed cases, and some good news. Of the 190, 20 have been discharged, and just 4 deaths thus far. So with that, dive straight to the Punch newspaper. 11 states FCT shun chloroquine clinical trial. NAFDAC. Lagos to begin trial as M&B produces 1 million tablets. 55-year-old patient dies of COVID-19 complications in Lagos. FG says it won't release corpses to families. Cases hit 210. That's an update to what Tribune said there. As of this morning, it's 210 confirmed cases in Nigeria. 4,000 persons tested, 6,700 contacts identified. That's the NCDC. Don't harm Nigerians. Buhari wants military police orders. And we have why we haven't started Osun, Edo, Akwa Ibom, Kaduna orders. We have also another news headline here. We want to repair more ventilators to save COVID-19 patients. Those are some very nice Nigerians. Technicians who fixed Unijust Teaching Hospital's critical equipment for free. Wow. Think about what you can do for your country and what your country can do for you. Details of that on page 24 of the Punch newspaper. We have U.S. citizens stranded at Lagos airport as evacuation flight fails to arrive. Stay now. Must you go? U.S. citizens stranded at Lagos airport as evacuation flight fails to arrive. And we have on killings, President orders army to support police in Sokoto and Plateau. President orders army to support police in Sokoto and Plateau state over killings. Details of that on page 9 of the Punch newspaper. I am not a smuggler. I don't know why customs men killed my daughter of slain Ogun, dad of slain Ogun girl. You know, and we have 31 Americans heading for Cross River, now isolated. NNPC. Thank you. Please isolate them before they import something we don't want. All right, let's quickly check the sport angle. The Punch newspaper, the back page right here. Abia Warriors keeper shot by hoodlums in stable condition. That's the club telling us there. Coronavirus will soon end. Okay, that's Pastor Taribo West. You remember him? The man with the dreadlocks. Yeah, Pastor Taribo West is he prophesying or predicting right here? Coronavirus will soon end. Coronavirus will soon end. That's Taribo West. And we have Joshua's heavyweight title defense postponed by coronavirus. Okay, so Joshua's punch can't send coronavirus away. Coronavirus is postponing Joshua's match. All right, we'll wait for that. We have Premier League rules out to return at start of May. Of course, the league can't start in May. They probably will look for another day. Sorry, Liverpool fans. You'll have to wait some more time before you can carry that cup. Sanchez return may end Osimhen's United move. And we have Neymar makes £775,000 donation to fight COVID-19. Wow, Neymar Jr. makes £775,000 donation, £775,000 British pounds donation to fight COVID-19. And we have Super Eagles keeper Akpeyi can't wait to return to football. Akpeyi can't wait to return to football. That's the much we can take. Headlines from the newspapers, read from the Tribune and the Punch newspaper. We'll go on a short break. When we're back, go straight to the headlines. Please don't go anywhere.
Health is wealth, and there is no better time to remind ourselves of this fact. As the novel coronavirus continues to threaten our health and well-being as a people, it is time to act fast and smart. To this end, religious organizations, educational institutions at all levels, as well as socio-cultural and political organizations are by expert advice enjoined to suspend all large gatherings until further notice to help curb the spread of the virus. Most importantly, we should all avoid spreading panic and misinformation on social media, but help sensitize fellow citizens on the way out of the pandemic. This is not a drill. The threat of COVID-19 is real. God save us all. This message is from the Oluyole State government.
Newsbeats.
So glad to know you're still there. You're listening to Oluyole 98.5 FM, and the program on the airwaves right now is Newsbit. I am Oladayo Ogunbowale. Tola Teriba can't join me today. Of course, you know how the weather is out there for today. Oh no, you didn't sleep in the other room. You just had to take care of some things, and if time permits, you might even still join us for today. But then, of course, we go straight to the papers, and of course, I can already see comments on our social media timeline right now on Twitter, and of course, you can also join on Facebook. We're streaming live right there from wherever you're listening, Lagos, Oyo, Osun, Ogun, Ondo, Kwara, even as far away as Rivers State and Delta State. Yes, feel free to drop your comments before we open the phone lines. You are most welcome. Straight to the details. Coronavirus, 11 states. FCT, Sean Chloroquine, clinical trial. NAFDAC says Lagos to begin trial as M&B produces 1 million tablets. M&B, you know that pharmaceutical company said, so we might be going the chloroquine way. So glad to have you here, Tola Teba.
Good to see you.
All right. I'm sure you have the Tribune newspaper right there with you.
Yes. Better headline says COVID-19 chloroquine trial in Nigeria soon. That's coming from NAFDAC. And we also have this one, COVID-19, IMF to bail out 90 countries with $1 trillion, says world economy now in recession.
All right, so I'll just take this story. Coronavirus, 11 states, FCT, Sean Chloroquine clinical trial. Weeks after the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control approved the use of chloroquine for the clinical trial treatment of the coronavirus disease, states affected by the widespread virus have yet to signify interest to embrace the initiative. Saturday Punch has learned. The Director General of the agency, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, on Friday told Saturday Punch that only Lagos State, which has 109 confirmed cases, the highest in the country, had signified interest in using the drug for clinical trial to find treatment for the virus. The other states that have recorded cases are Osun, Oyo, and Edo, Kaduna, Bauchi, Enugu, Ekiti, Rivers, Benue, and Ondo, most of which has just 4, 2, 1, and 1 respectively, which was confirmed on Friday evening. The Federal Capital Territory has just 41 cases. Someone say, okay, I should have put just 41, but then can't compare to Lagos with 109. As of Friday evening, the number of confirmed cases in Nigeria stood at 210, out of which 25 patients had been discharged in Lagos and Ekiti states, while 4 deaths have so far been recorded. The 2 new deaths confirmed on Friday were in Lagos and Edo states. Across the world, the number of cases had risen to 1,093,887 cases, out of which 228,037 had recovered and 58,752 had died. NAFDAC, which approves medicines meant for clinical trials, had on March 20 approved the use of chloroquine for clinical trial. Please note, for clinical trial, not for treatment, not for use in the house. Don't go buying chloroquine tablets, please. Okay, so the DG had said NAFDAC is not approving chloroquine as a product that can be used for coronavirus because there is no submission to us for registration. But because it is under clinical trials, NAFDAC approves medicine meant for clinical trials. Therefore, the medicine is being approved just for the clinical trials. Coronavirus, 11 states, FCT, Sean Chloroquine clinical trial. NAFDAC says that. You have a version of that story in the Tribune, right there.
It also says that COVID-19 chloroquine trial in Nigeria soon, says NAFDAC. And now malaria drug help coronavirus patients to recover, says study, and 562 die one day in New York. Federal government may use polling units for distribution of palliatives. Now, this one that says how malaria drug help corona patients to recover. Let me see if I can get something on that. It's on page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune, and it says how chloroquine worked for virus patients. Now, a group of moderately ill people in China were recently given hydroxychloroquine, I hope I got that, which appeared to ease their symptoms quickly, the New York Times has reported. The malaria drug hydroxychloroquine helped to speed the recovery of a small number of patients who were mildly healed from the coronavirus. The report quoted doctors in China. Cough, fever, and pneumonia went away faster, and the disease seemed less likely to turn severe in people who received hydroxychloroquine than in a comparison group not given the drug. The authors of the report said that the medication was promising, but that more research was needed to clarify how it might work in treating coronavirus disease and to determine the best way to use it. It's going to send a ripple of excitement throughout the treating community, said Dr. William Schaffner, an infectious disease expert at Vanderbilt University. How malaria drug works for coronavirus patients, says study. Seems chloroquine is getting closer and closer to what we are all searching for.
But I mean, it's still important we tell people before they start beseeching.
Don't wait for the experts to actually tell us that this thing can be.
I spoke with someone who said, no, don't look chloroquine. Easy, liver every morning before you go out. He says that has been taken. I said, Oga, for your own good.
I hope eventually chloroquine will not turn to gold.
Please. I mean, people just have to be careful because it's becoming drug abuse. When people begin to use drugs like that. There's this story on page 9 of the Punch newspaper. Killings. Buhari directs army to support police in Sokoto and Plateau states. While we're fighting COVID-19 across the nation, some bandits, miscreants are killing people, wanton killings across the nation. The president, Major General Momotu Buhari, retired, has directed the Nigerian army to join the police to flush out bandits from forests around the country, particularly in the areas that witnessed recent attacks. The presidential directive comes 2 days after bandits killed 22 people and injured about 20 in an attack on Danga village in the Sabon Birni local government area of Sokoto state. On Wednesday, while foodstuffs, cow and animals were rustled, similarly about 3 persons were killed by unknown gunmen on Tuesday, and 10 reportedly killed on Wednesday night in Bassa town, the Bassa local government area of Plateau state, while many others were injured. The attack came barely 2 weeks after 2 soldiers attached to the Operation Safe Haven and 2 others were killed in Katumai village of Bassa local government area. According to a statement by the President's Senior Special Assistant on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, on Friday, Buhari gave the directive in response to the killings. The statement read in part, in a quick response, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tuko Boratai, has already got in touch with the general officers commanding the army formations in the affected states, directing them to reinforce the police efforts to track the bandits and bring them to justice. President Buhari has also commiserated with the governments and people of the 2 states, assuring Governors Aminu Tambuwa and Simon Lalong of the federal government's support in bringing an end to the spate of attacks in the regions. He prayed that God would comfort those who lost beloved family members and friends in the attacks. Killings. Buhari directs army to support police in Sokoto and Plateau State. That particular story is on page 9 of the Punch newspaper.
And I'm coming down southwest to be precise. Residents flee as suspected Fulani herdsmen kill free. Now, Arimogija community in Ose local government area of Ondo State is now deserted following the incessant attacks by gunmen suspected to be Fulani herdsmen. Now, according to sources, no fewer than 3 farmers had been killed in the area in the last few weeks by the suspected headsmen, while security operatives were said to have failed to check the activities of the criminals. A resident of the community who spoke on condition of anonymity, lamented that the people of the community that noticed the strange helicopter which they alleged came to a forest in the area to drop some ammunition for the herdsmen. Now, the source added that the matter was reported at the police station, but no action was taken by the security agencies on the matter. He, however, said the entire community had been living in fear, while some residents had begun to relocate from the community following the Fulani herdsmen attack. He said the Fulani herdsmen have killed 3 people in this community in just 1 week. They killed a rice farmer, Jacob Odushe, and his son, Adura, this week. Residents flee as suspected Fulani herdsmen kill free.
Very, very pathetic right there. Very, 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 very pathetic. There's this story right here. 31 Americans heading for Cross River, now isolated, NNPC. The 31 American oil workers who were heading for Cross River State on Monday but were denied entry into the state have been placed on isolation. It was gathered from the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation in Abuja that the Americans arrived in Nigeria on Monday and were to work for an NNPC partner in Cross River State. They were, however, denied entry by the Cross River State government and were turned back over coronavirus screening after the Air Peace charter flight that took them from the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, was denied entry into Cross River. The oil workers who were billed to land in Calabar were eventually flown to Abuja. On arriving in Abuja, it was learned that the oil workers were asked to undergo 14 days isolation as a precautionary measure in the fight against the spread of coronavirus. The group general manager, Group Public Affairs Division, NNPC, Kenny Obateru, told a correspondent that although the foreigners had been placed on isolation, none of them had exhibited any symptoms of COVID-19. Obateru stated that the Nigerian Center for Disease Control had tested the 31 Americans, adding that the NNPC would do what was best for the country in containing the spread of the virus. The 31 Americans are in Nigeria to work for one of our partners. They have been taken through the coronavirus precaution protocol of 14 days isolation, even though none of them showed any sign when tested by the NCDC. 31 Americans heading for Cross River, now isolated. I thought we closed our borders.
And I begin to wonder, this age of a shutdown of airports.
These guys didn't trek from US into Nigeria. They arrived on Monday. And they were going to...
And last time I checked, there was no reversal of the decision to close down them. So the Lagos and Abuja
if
airports.
not for Cross River State denying them entry, they would have just entered. And they passed through Murtala Mohammed Airport. It was when they now sent them back to Abuja, the NNPC now said, okay, let's isolate them. It is well with Nigeria. I mean, so people are actually still entering.
Definitely.
From high-risk countries. The US.
We still have returnees. People keep calling the helplines. Saying that in our neighborhood, a particular person has just arrived from one of the high-risk countries. And you begin to wonder, should we close down these entry points? So what exactly is going on?
Seriously, I don't know what to say again. I mean, if we keep claiming that, okay, let's help ourselves, stay indoors, stay this, say that, and some people that are supposed to take charge of entry and exit by our borders are just like a daisical. 31,
And there were these unverified stories anyway that some high-profile cases of COVID-19 were actually taken out of the country to seek medical attention, and the story said that they were turned back, and later they were now taken out of Abuja, taken to Lagos. Well, I don't know. maybe a case of animal farm. All animals are equal.
But I saw the story when it broke on Twitter yesterday, and I'm like, how did they enter in the first instance? How? You know, if not for Cross River State denying them entry into their state, we would not have known of this.
And they would have gone freely.
I'm telling you. The right thing is isolate for 14 days. They were going to work, sir. Maybe to one league, and then they'll be... Really? 31.
31.
The claim here is that NCDC tested them on arrival. Really?
Wow.
Really?
On arrival.
Tested.
And no need for isolation.
Plus, they are not even Nigerians. I mean, I'm not saying they don't have rights, but I'm saying, really.
And from the US, that's one of the highest.
I'm telling you,
cases.
High risk. I mean, serious. If there's anything like ultra high risk, the US is. I hope there will be an explanation to this because.
I think the NCDC in particular has some explanation to do. And
of course, how can you say you tested them once and you told them to go? And like Jesus Christ, go and say no more.
I think the president has said he's ordering the airports shut except for essential personnel, essential goods and services. Okay. So who is flouting the president's order? Who is giving counter directives to allow some category of people not on the essential services list to come into the country?
If they had been in the country since maybe nobody would bat an eyelid. But this guy entered Nigeria on Monday in the midst of all this. And
even if we are going to categorize them as essential services, we're talking about what they will be doing for the economy, being all workers. At least it still makes sense at the same time to still isolate them, still give time to actually have them tested.
That you are asymptomatic does not mean you don't have the virus. Who says? I mean, in fact, there are some airports now that have been tagged red zones. You go through just whether or not you have it or not. You go through you go through JFK. You arrive in any country and they hear you are passed through JFK, they will just go and isolate you straight. You arrive in any country, you say you are coming, you've passed through Heathrow, they will just directly isolate you. It's just natural. And now these guys have arrived the country, 31 of them, and they even entered the chartered flights. Decided to go and walk in Cross River State. Only God knows how many people they would have interacted with and all that. I think government needs to do better. I mean, no. This is not acceptable.
And like you said, if we had to turn the table around, even before COVID-19, carry malaria fever into the US and you are detected, you'll be quarantined
straight
immediately.
They don't joke
just
with
ordinary malaria.
So they don't joke with things like this. I mean, what these 31 guys pulled off in Nigeria, they can't pull it off even in their own country. If they know you are coming from, say, maybe China and you're entering the US, they won't ask questions. As you are landing like this, quarantine, provided they even allow your plane to land anyway. I mean, travel ban is travel ban. Can we just for once obey our own rules? I mean, there should be no sacred cow. There shouldn't be any sacred cow. Only God knows how many people these guys have been exposed to.
Touch with.
And then you now start doing contract tracing. Who did us like this? And why do you like giving ourselves work? I don't know. You might have another story there. It's painful.
We're still coming from the oil sector, and then we're talking about palliatives now. Why we can't sell petrol below 125 naira. That's coming from the marketers this morning. Now, the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, Ibadan branch, on Friday gave reasons why its members would not sell petrol below 125 naira per litre. The federal government had a few days ago reduced the pump price of petrol from 125 naira to 123 naira 50 kobo. Many filling stations stuck to their guns and vowed not to lower the price from current 125 naira, which the government pegged it at recently. The IPMAN Secretary Alhaji Ismail Abdul Majid, in a circular to his members, a copy of which was made available to newsmen in Ibadan, asked members to freely choose between two selling price bands released by the Petroleum Products Pricing Regulatory Agency, PPPRA. The PPPRA had, in a statement signed by its Executive Secretary Abdul Kader Saidu on April 1, clarified the guiding price bands of petrol to be 123 naira 50 kobo per litre lower band and 125 naira per litre upper band. Abdul Majid said the government reduced the depot price recently from 133 naira 28 kobo to 133 naira 28 kobo and directed them to sell at 125 naira. He, however, expressed worry over the latest pump price of 123 naira 50 kobo, saying the development made the PPPRA to ask them to sell at either 125 naira or 123 naira. We can't sell, why we can't sell petrol below 125 naira, says marketers. Now, what do you make of these mathematics? They are saying that the PPPR is actually offering them a choice indirectly.
The PPPR is supposed to determine the price, actually. So if they are saying something, I think they know what they are saying. But then, of course, one needs to understand these marketers. Depot owners can decide to play a fast one on them. We must understand that. If the owner of the depot is saying, I don't care what PPPRA tells you, my own petrol, I will sell at so to you. If you like, go and sell at whatever price. I think the PPPRA needs to work more on depot owners.
More on depot owners. Yeah, that's what the marketers are saying.
Exactly. So instead of why we shout on the marketers, they are just end sellers and all that, as it were. I'm able to use that word. The real guys here now, the MVPs, are the depot owners,
and they're coming out to shout now. Well, unlike before, that it's not us this time around, though, that it's not us, that it's the depot owners. And I think before this, they had asked the PPPRA to actually work on the depot owners to make them serious, and why this time the prices of pump price of petrol should go down.
Very important, if you ask me. And I think even the marketers too, anyway, I still have something for them. They should just be considerate. One thing that can actually help the economy here is reducing the price of fuel. Fuel affects everything. People are at home now, at least if you can afford a journey, it means you put fuel inside. Okay, so these are things that you can still used to help people. The average taxi driver who does not have many more customers these days, doesn't have much people on the road, who want to save some money. Okay, helping him to reduce the cost of fuel will help him reduce his cost of service, rendering service. I think we should just I don't know how they want to do it, but let's be considerate to ourselves. Let's consider ourselves, help ourselves. This is beyond what government can just do. PPPRA should do their job, but marketers too should do business with a human face. Very, very important.
And now that you mentioned taxi drivers and commercial transport operators, these guys are really having a hard time these days.
No doubt.
They drive around, run their engines on petrol, and they get very few passengers to actually convey to and fro. Well, due to the partial lockdown, I've heard so many of them complaining. Even the Okada riders, the one was actually asking the other that, where do you get passengers? Where do you get passengers from? So, well, it's not for anything. Well, at least for the sake of these people who still move people on the services around them.
Exactly.
So, and if they have to now run their engines, their petrol engines, and then no passengers to carry, no profits coming in, I mean, some of them might just try to park and once COVID-19 is over, until we come out again to start conveying people.
I'm telling you, we can only expect the very best, in this particular situation. We'll go on a short break right now, and when we're back, it will be time to open the phone lines. Please don't go anywhere.
Health is wealth, and there is no better time to remind ourselves of this fact. As the novel coronavirus continues to threaten our health and well-being as a people, it is time to act fast and smart. To this end, religious organizations, educational institutions at all levels, as well as sociocultural and political organizations are by expert advice enjoined to suspend all large gatherings until further notice to help curb the spread of the virus. Most importantly, we should all avoid spreading panic and misinformation on social media, but help sensitize fellow citizens on the way out of the pandemic. This is not a drill. The threat of COVID-19 is real. God save us all. This message is from the Oluyole State government.
Newsbit.
All right, so glad to know you're still there. This is Newsbit coming to you live from the stables of Oluyole 98.5 FM, and of course we're broadcasting live on the radio network of the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State. Are you just joining us? I am Oladayo Ogunbowale.
And I'm Tola Teriba.
Before we went on that break, we're discussing, of course, it's COVID-19 everywhere. But then there's, no matter how dark the cloud is, there's always that silver lining. Overnight, a miracle happened. on the international scene. While IMF and World Bank, I was watching that press conference, WHO conference. They brought people from IMF and all that. I know, especially the IMF head, she was very passionate. Oh, it's good to have women there. And she was talking, we need to help Africa. We need to do this and all that. And before you know it, before the end of the day, they decided that $1 trillion will be pumped into some economies, although Nigeria is not on that list.
And 90 countries.
Exactly. Nigeria is not on the list. But that statement triggered something in the crude oil market. As we speak right now, Nigeria's crude oil, Bonny Light, is selling for $26.69 per barrel. 3 days ago, it was $18.50. It was that bad. But right now, it's in the green. And it's even pointing upwards. According to oilprice.com, we are selling currently at $26.69. Brent crude is selling at $34. You know, some people might say, how much is $34? And let me be happy. 18.5 is a no-no. You know, I mean, 18.5 was a no-no. Now that we are selling 26.69, we are grateful to God. At least some money will enter. And I think while some people might not understand why we always find a way to talk about crude oil on our programs every day, don't worry now. In the next 2 months, when state governments go to Abuja to ask for, what they collect, and they come back and tell you that, we understand. But we pray that does not happen. Because we pray it does not happen. This crude oil we are talking about is what affects, how much money we get to share. And so if we are seeing a green, I think it's good news. God is answering prayers. We just pray it keeps getting better, and it gets at least something above $40. Our benchmark is $30. Okay.
I know some of us really prayed very hard that may we not see that in the session of was it 2016?
We need that prayer. We seriously need it.
When civil servants were being held up to 8 months, 7 months in some states.
We can't afford to go that way again. So that intervention on the international scene is really, really doing something. There's a story here in the Punch newspaper on page 28. Oil rises above $34. OPEC Plus to meet on Monday. The international oil benchmark, Brent crude, extended its gains on Friday, climbing to as high as $34.91 a barrel on rising hopes of a new global deal to cut crude supply. Brent soared as much as 47% on Thursday for its highest intraday percentage gain on record. The upturn in crude oil prices came after the United States President Donald Trump said he expected that Saudi Arabia and Russia would agree to new oil production cuts. Brent had fallen to an 18-year low of $22 per barrel on Monday as a coronavirus-driven lockdown severely reduced oil demand amid an escalating price war between Saudi Arabia and Russia. The federal government of Nigeria, which was looking to generate 32.34%, which is 2.64 trillion naira of expected total revenue from oil, was forced to propose the reduction of the benchmark to $30 from $57. On the back of the sharp drop in oil prices, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries and its allies, led by Russia, are working on a deal for an unprecedented production cut equivalent to about 10% of global supply, an OPEC source said, according to Reuters. Oil prices rise above $34. OPEC Plus to meet on Monday. There's this permutation and combination that the OPEC meeting could send oil prices crashing again. We want to tell the OPEC people, the OPEC and the OPEC Plus, please allow God to use you. Don't let these prices go down. At this period, we need money. We can't afford to be losing money as a nation. Okay, and that's
the sake of the looming recession.
So after all, you are not putting us on your bailout. They are not bailing Nigeria out. Maybe African Development Bank will bail Nigeria out. We have our own man there.
What did we do, Dayo?
I think we should ask those who have been collecting money. What have they been doing with the money
they collected?
You can't be reading Nigerian newspaper. I want to borrow Nigerian money. I'm not being pessimistic here. Anybody who reads some of our headlines will not want to borrow Nigerian money. But of course, at least let them do things, policies that will help our economy, especially as regards crude oil. I think we'll be fine. We'll be fine. And if IMF does not borrow us, if World Bank does not borrow us, our man in African Development Bank should do the needful.
Now, before we go to the phone lines, there's something caught my eye here. Something that has been very pertinent. COVID-19 lockdown, federal government warns against brutalizing citizens.
Very important.
Because there was this video on the social media of people being savagely beaten. One man was being asked to swim in a sewage.
We had one, yesterday that got drunk and shot the tires. Thank God it's tires, not legs of people.
So I think these issues really need to be addressed. Well, people also should not break the curfew, should not break the rules of restriction. But then, when you arrest people like that, I think the proper thing to do is maybe make them to pay a fine.
Exactly.
Make it official.
Or you delay them. Let them sit down there. I mean, stay there. Join us and be doing tax force together with us.
Let them spend the rest of the night with you.
I mean, so rather than brutalize them, that's not the way to go.
Portray us
it's so not the way to go. You want to take a paragraph or two from that story?
All right. The Presidential Task Force on Coronavirus COVID-19 has cautioned security against manhandling citizens who disobey the order to stay at home over the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic. Now, speaking at the daily media briefing of the task force in Abuja on Friday, the chairman and secretary to the government of the Federation, SGF, Mr. Boss Mustafa, appealed to the security personnel deployed to enforce the restrictions to approach the assignment with caution. Mustafa also appealed to Nigerians to be law-abiding for as long as the lockdown lasts. The appeals were in reaction to reports from parts of Nigeria, some parts of the country alleging high-handedness on the part of those deployed to enforce the restrictions which were authorized by President Muhammadu Buhari in a bid to curtail the spread of the virus in the country. Now, I don't think it's enough to just send appeals to the security agents. They should be ordered that don't brutalize people. Very important. If there is a fine to be paid, enforce the payment of fine.
I know of the Inspector General of Police has, informed his men and all that, but I mean, they should do better. You can't afford to imagine. Why would we lose lives to police brutality or security agent brutality when we are trying to fight coronavirus? It doesn't make sense.
And when we're fighting coronavirus, you're asking somebody to swim inside sewage again. I mean,
only God knows which virus is going to catch from that one. We can avoid things like this, and our security agents can do better. We appreciate them. We know they are really if not for them, only God knows where we will be as a nation. So we expect them to do more for us as a people. Time check, 7:16 a.m. Destination time is 7:30 a.m. Somebody is asking, people always ask, and somebody asked, I think we should just discuss it. Why are we having soldiers in task force? Really? Why can't we just stick with policemen?
Well, I can't think of, maybe because of the recalcitrant nature of the average Nigerian. The average Nigerian would be more afraid.
When you say soldier,
but most Nigerians would not argue when they see soldiers. But with policemen, they would still argue, even though due apologies to the Nigerian police, the tendency of accidental discharge appears to be a lot more higher on their side. But still, Nigerians will still want to argue with the
soldiers. That's it. Well, time check, 7:17 a.m. destination. Time 7:30 a.m. The phone lines are open. 09025038006. That's the line. And the other one, 08055009850. We already have callers knocking here. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, please, very soft focus. I want to talk something. I'm calling from Shaki.
Your name?
My name is Shegu.
All right, go ahead. Briefly, please.
Yesterday, somebody was telling me I'm in Shaki here. Someone was telling me that the police people ride on some people and took away their goods. I want to go to this place to go and verify.
Okay.
It's true. Because it's not good. It's not good at this hard time that people know just we are giving time.
You know what, Mr. Shegun, it will be wrong of us to conclude and begin to lampoon them based on what you've not confirmed. When you confirm it, let us know.
Yes, and somebody that told me.
You know what? We're on here right now. It will be very, very wrong for us to lampoon them without you confirming. Go ahead and confirm. When you have done that, let us know.
I will send information to you.
Aha, thank you very much.
So that
thank you very much.
Governor will know about you.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much, Mr. Sego. Anybody can say anything. He himself that is reporting has not confirmed. That will not be fair on the Nigerian police force. The phone lines are still open: 09025038006, 08055009850. Those are the lines to connect with us in the studio. Hello, good morning.
Hello, Daniel and Stella.
Good morning,
Good
Grandma.
morning, Grandma.
It is good for the Abuja to quarantine these Americans. They know what is right, but people will not do it. Are they in love of money more than human beings? Secondly, please, and please, where is Amotekun?
Okay.
Where is Amotekun again? People have started again, this Fulani men. Please, don't let this COVID-19 put it off. I beg you.
All right. Thank you so much.
God save Nigeria.
Amen. Thank you so much, Grandma, all the way from Ilorin. I'm serious. Where is Amotekun for real? Where is Amotekun?
Well, we were actually discussing in the newsroom yesterday, and somebody actually said that everybody seems to have forgotten about Amotekun for now.
Maybe they too don't want to catch coronavirus, so decide to stay at home first.
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Good morning, you are on.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
I'm Falodu from Kuapa.
Mr. Falodu, good to hear from you this morning.
Yesterday we are talking about the drugs that we are talking that this is people who are contained. Now, you can see what happened again in Cross River. Oh, to me, it's against supporting from the immigration people. It's against supporting. You can see what happened now. And we are talking of drugs. We have to work for the drugs. We are talking about. And on this issue of precisely Nigeria in the name of COVID-19, you expect that to be shaking hands with a lawbreaker. They are home. These are not the special services. They are home. That's the simple law. In Nigeria, we want to break the law. That's our system. Now, to me personally, they are home. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Falodu. Thank you for staying within the 1 minute lockdown. We can still receive more calls, but let's manage our time properly. 08055 009850. That's the new line. 08055 009850. Or, of course, the regular line 09025038006.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
My name is Comrade David Oluyole FM.
All right, comrade, let's have your comment.
Calling from Ogbomoso.
All right, comrade.
Please go ahead.
The issue of Nigeria, the issue of police, that's right. Since yesterday now, people have been calling me, pertaining to our police, that they want to collect 10,000 from them before they can release their motorcycle.
Well. I mean, that's a serious allegation.
Which should be investigated.
I mean,
I'm sure the State Police Public Relations Officer is listening.
I can assure you.
Of Police
I can assure 10K for
they should investigate these things.
You want to ask what exactly is the offense, what did they do, and why would they have to pay 10,000 naira? For is that for bail or what? Are they bailing the vehicle? I mean, the motorcycle. I mean, well, we hope you can call back. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. This is Chris from Ikene.
Oh, Mr. Chris. Good morning. Let's have your comment.
Good morning.
Morning.
Well done. Well done for your work.
Yes, sir.
While we are here, I don't think you are in the studio working. It is the nature of the job. Sometimes it has to people like that. But this morning, honestly, I am really crying from the bottom of my heart on what we saw on TV, on this brutality. Are we really sure that some of these people are really men that have make of human kindness in them, and they just be someone else? It is so sad. We are human beings and not just animals. Well, let Nigerians try to be 2 weeks will soon be over, but at the same time, I think there is some level of level of human kindness in human beings. May God save Nigeria. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you so much, Mr. Chris. All the way from Kenya. Well, I mean, if only we know. The days are counting down, and if we just do the needful, we might not have to stay this long or that much long any longer. Let's just do the needful. It will soon be over. It will soon be over. These too shall pass.
You know, I'm seriously hoping that well, maybe the 2-week partial lockdown issued by most states will not last beyond that. But the way I'm saying is, if people refuse to do the needful, we just might, and then in any case, the COVID-19 cases, confirmed cases, seem to be getting higher around the country. So I don't know whether we might eventually be heading towards a total lockdown. God forbid, because that is what we all dread in the long run.
I'm sure we don't want that. The phone lines are still open. If you want to connect with the studio, you can take 1 or 2 more calls. 09025038006, 08055009850. Let me quickly go to Facebook. Ibrahim Saleh Haruna says, well done. Can Haruna from Odo Urubumosho, please, how is our governor? I'm sure governor is fine. Governor Shemakide is doing pretty fine. Ibrahim Sulaiman says hi, okay. And David Akini is also saying hello. Everybody's greeting you here. Okay, thank you so much. Really appreciate your comments. And on Twitter, sorry, I'll come back to that phone calls. We have Prince Adelowo Kayode at Adelowo Kayode 1 saying, why should federal government evacuate people from abroad when we in Nigeria have not been catered to? People are dying of hunger here. Coronavirus didn't kill fast like these soldiers. Yeah, talking about brutality from security agents right there. Yusuf at Tabuswe saying, kudos to Eco Disco for donating foodstuff to Lagos government. However, it's time for Disco's to form forces with government for distribution of palliatives. There's someone here. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Please come with that, so you call me back.
Oh, very good.
Good come.
Please go ahead.
Coming back from Ogbomoso.
Yes, please go ahead, sir.
We want the authority to note that people have been calling since yesterday. They want them to pay their motorcycle with 10,000. So we don't want that. That's why I'm calling.
Okay.
So anybody that they sees this motorcycle to come down, so that we are going to see the area commander so that they can release their motorcycle for them.
All right. Can you please mention that location again, sir?
The specific
I
area.
said Ogbomoso here.
Where in Ogbomoso, sir?
Since yesterday, people have been calling me to come down that they have problem with them.
Is it all over Ogbomoso in a particular location in Ogbomoso?
No, we have to see the area commander so that we see what we can do about it.
All right, sir. All right, sir. Thank you so much for your contribution. I really appreciate that.
It would also help if we could know a specific area.
Ogbomoso is quite big. That's what I'm saying.
Big city.
It might just be one police station that is pulling these stunts. It might just be men from one single station.
Particular police station, particular police division. It will help the authorities a lot to investigate.
Exactly. Okay, let's take this one last call before we leave. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, sir.
My name is Reverend Babatunde from Lalate.
Reverend, good morning.
Thank you very much for sensitizing our people, especially on coronavirus, that everybody should stay at home. So tomorrow is Sunday. I want to appeal to all Christians to do worship in their various homes.
Thank you, Reverend.
So that we comply with the government.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Reverend Babatunde from Lalate.
God bless you, Reverend. Thank you for that message. It's important to tell people. I mean,
coming from a Reverend.
Exactly. You have heard the Reverend saying it now. Please stay at home. God will answer your prayer. Reverend has spoken. At least you heard him, right? Don't go and crowd yourself in one church. Please, let's stay home and stay safe. Well, till Monday when we come your way again. again on this same program, same time, 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. Sorry, we can't pick any more calls. I remain Oladayo Ogunbowale.
Now I'm Tola Teriba. Thanks for listening. Mary
is right here. Don't let me say what came to my mind.
Yes, well, that latter means she is COVID-19 free.
Okay. All right. Well, we leave you in the safe hands of Mary. Up next, Spot Tidbits. Please don't go anywhere. Stay home, stay safe.
Okay, 98.5 Oluyole FM, that is where we are reaching you live from this morning, straight down to Agility FM 92.1, Okiogun FM 96.3. For those listening to us online on Facebook, on Twitter, we are welcoming you this beautiful Saturday morning to Sport Tidbits right here on your number one dial. When someone says, what exactly is happening in the world of sports, Mary? I tell them, don't worry. There are details filtering in little by little, and all of those details I will be bringing to you this morning. Promises to be interesting, exciting for the next 20 minutes. The first lady definitely right here to give all of those updates to you. My name is Mary Akinshola, and let's get straight to business.
CG the Hitmaker.
Okay, first of all, now we start off from the Nigerian football scene. Well, just like we've been having all this controversy in the English Premier League, in the Spanish La Liga, the Italian Serie A leagues, even the Jupiler Pro League in Belgium, all over the world. Well, let me assure you that even in Nigeria, it is happening. Everyone is talking about the fact that are we going to be able to finish up the MPFL for the 2019-2020 season? So it's big, it's huge. Everyone is talking about it. And then on Wednesday, now the coach of Plateau United, that's talking about Aldo Maikara, he came out to say, well, as far as he is concerned, he hopes and he feels that it is okay to declare Plateau United as champions as for this season. Well, but trust me, that did not go down well with one person, and he has not missed words to talk about this one. That's talking about the coach of Rivers United now. That's Stanley Eguma. He says that the league management company, that's the LMC, should not hand the Nigerian Professional Football League leaders, Plateau United, the league, while insisting that the league is not over yet. Now, Plateau United are currently on top of the 20-team table with 49 points from 25 matches, closely followed by Rivers United, who are 4 points behind the leader. But the league was suspended on March the 18th. This was due to the coronavirus outbreak, and this sparked reactions that the LMC should take a decision on the suspended season. While some have called on the league body to cancel the season, others are saying that they should hand Plateau United the 2019-2020 title. United manager Aldo Maikaba already says that I think it's going to be fair to handle the title, while Stanley Eguma says it will be too early to start rushing and say the trophy should be handed to Plateau United because the league is not over yet. I wouldn't want them to go ahead and hand trophy to Plateau United. I think we should allow this problem to go before we move on, if they that are talking about Plateau United are named champions and the problem is still there, it does not make it right. The most important thing is to allow this transition period to pass by. Do not forget that back just a few years ago also the league was abridged. The league we were unable to complete the league, and for that reason Lobby Stars were also awarded the league the title that season. But so many controversies have risen from that singular incident. Everyone talked about it. Even till today, most people still call Lobby Stars undeserved champions for that year. So 2019-2020 season is here. Will the same thing be happening? Don't forget that the defending champions of this title are Enyimba International of Aba at the moment. But then we have Plateau United on top, closely followed by Rivers United, and Lobby Stars just come a distant third. Okay, straight away from there now. Okay, now straight away from there, for those who are also wondering when will football come back, I just want to assure you this morning that you are not the only one in this dilemma. I understand the fact that most people go to bed in the night and then they wake up and the only thing they can't think about day and night is when will sports resume? When will I be able to see Newcastle play against Liverpool? When will I be able to see Huddersfield Town go up against Cardiff City? When am I going to get the El Clasico back? When are we going to travel to San Siro again? When exactly am I going to see the Alliance Stadium once more? Lots and lots of these questions have been asked. When am I going to see Lionel Messi out on the pitch live? Everyone is asking this question, but I can assure you, you're not the only one in this dilemma. So just keep calm, relax, because even the man in charge of football all over the world, that is talking about FIFA President Gianni Infantino, he is also in this dilemma. He has admitted now that nobody knows when football can resume around the world, and that when it returns, it's going to be different. Well, that's a huge one right there, and I think so many people will agree with him that football definitely will be different when it does return. Well, he said that because of the deadly coronavirus pandemic, for once, football is not the most important thing. Well, let me quote him now. He said, "We all wish that they could have football tomorrow, but unfortunately it's not possible, and nobody in the world today knows when we will be able to play football like before. Our world and our sport are going to be different when we return to normality. We have to make sure that football survives and that it can prosper once again. Like most other sports now, football across the world has been largely altered by the pandemic, which to date has affected nearly 1 million people and killed more than 47,000. Well, still quoting Infantino now, for the first time, football is not the most important thing. Health comes first and must continue until the disease is defeated." So all over the world, the dynamite is still sure. The one question is being asked: when exactly will football return? I think somebody was saying something recently. He was telling me that, see, Mary, when next football comes back, in fact, when I see let me say Adamawa United playing against Zamfara United, I am going to sit down and I am going to enjoy it, because I'm going to realize that I can never ever take football for granted again. I tell you, that is just one thing all of us would have to accept. Football, sports generally, we can't take it for granted. We can't take anything. The world as it stands, as we know it, we really can't take it for granted anymore. This definitely will change a whole lot of perspectives. Well, let's go straight back to talk football. Now we go down to UEFA. Well, UEFA on Thursday sent a letter to all its league bodies, all its members, saying that in their opinion, the decision to stop the league, or the decision to hand over titles to the table toppers at the moment, would be premature, it will be unfair, and it's not going to be justified. Now, some people are saying this might be unrelated, or probably related to what is going on in Belgium at the moment, where the Jupiler Pro League, that's talking about the professional football in Belgium, the professional football league, first tier professional football league in Belgium, have already decided that they will be handing Club Brugge, who are the table toppers at the moment, they'll be handing awarding them the title. But though they still have to take that resolution to the General Assembly, and that will be happening on the 19th of April. So if the General Assembly does accept it, well, Club Brugge would be rest assured that they are now the champions for the season. But just a few hours after that news filtered in, UEFA sent a letter to all its league members telling them that they should not hand the title now and the league. Now, it's a big deal right here because everyone will be wondering, will they still listen to UEFA? Will they go ahead and hand it to Club Brugge? There's a whole lot to look at in this one. Okay, well, still talking about UEFA now at the moment. Well, according to UEFA, the plan at the moment is that probably they would have to wait on the Champions League until the leagues are concluded. That is, if football does return or when football does return for the season. They are planning to say, okay, everybody go play your leagues, everybody go rush up your leagues, and then we can come back and maybe in a week or two we can conclude the UEFA Champions League. Now, for so many players now, that is already raising eyebrows. They are talking about it. Kevin De Bruyne came out to say that, in his opinion, he feels that if they should take that route, there would likely be a lot of pressure on players who are both in the leagues, who are fighting for the league and also fighting for the UEFA Champions League. So he, in his opinion, feels that this league should just be let alone. They should leave the league alone. They should cancel or hand it right here, and everybody can start looking forward or preparing for the next season. Do not forget also that most of the players are presently going to have their contract to run out by the 1st of June. That's when everybody expects, formally, before the whole coronavirus pandemic came out, that was when we expected that will be done. So everyone is talking about the fact that by 1st of June, when their contract does resume, will they still get paid if football hasn't yet returned, if they still have matches to prosecute? So there's a whole lot hanging in the balance right here. In my opinion now, I think UEFA needs to look inwardly, needs to understand what exactly matters. Just like Gianni Infantino says, football is not important here. Human health is important. General well-being of people is important. So definitely UEFA needs to sit back and take a quick look at what exactly is going on here. So check out all of those things continuously and make one quick solid decision. Okay, straight away from there now, let's go down to the English Premier League, where Premier League clubs will ask their players to take a combination of pay cuts and deferrals amounting to 30% of their annual salary. This is due to the financial crisis that has been caused by the coronavirus pandemic. Well, the English top flight highly paid stars have come under increasing pressure to take pay cuts from government officials in recent days after football clubs say that they would use public money to subsidize pay for non-playing staff. Well, the British Health Secretary Matt Hancock on Thursday said footballers should take a pay cut and they should play their part. But Tottenham, Newcastle, Norwich City and Bournemouth are planning to use the UK government furlough scheme to pay 80% of the wages of non-playing staff, up to £2,500. That's $3,100 a month. Now, the average salary for a Premier League player is €3 million per year, €3 million per year. This is according to the latest Global Sports Salary Survey. And Premier League clubs unanimously agreed to consult their players regarding a combination of conditional reductions amounting to 30%. This is according to a statement that was released by the Premier League. This was yesterday. Now, the Professional Footballers Association, that's the PFA, will meet with the league and the club officials to discuss the proposal today. A meeting between the league's 20 clubs also agreed to indefinitely extend the suspension of the season until it is safe to return and appropriate. Now, the clubs are desperate for the season to be finished, if possible, to avoid the potential of having to reimburse broadcasters a reported €760 million if they fail to fulfill fixtures for television contracts. Okay, I think now we begin to understand where the problem is coming from, talking about the rush to quickly go back to football. If so many people look at this thing now, if they do not go back to football, while they're having the row of saying, oh, Liverpool won the title, or we're handing Liverpool the league, they also, I think the biggest thing for them is going to be looking at the financial constraint is going to bring in upon them. If they do not get the complete season, broadcast of the season, the Premier League will have to return a whooping 760 million euros back to broadcasters. And I think probably they are concerned about how they are going to raise that money. That is why they are saying we will still come back to finish the league. Well, despite their own financial troubles now, the Premier League clubs also agreed to provide a 125 million fund for the English Football League and also for the National League to help those further down the football pyramid. I think this one is huge, if you'd ask me, because it's just like saying, oh, we are earning much. We don't, yes, we have financial issues, but those who are not earning up to us in the League 2, in the League 3, okay, we're going to donate money to also say that they can't get salaries. I think this is huge. I think this is commendable from the Premier League, if you'd ask me. It's a big deal right here. Well, also a 20 million charitable donation will also be provided to help those who are affected by the coronavirus. Well, Liverpool's keeper Jordan Henderson has reportedly led a meeting of Premier League captains to arrange an extra charity fund for the NHS, that's the National Health Service, made up of players who will be looking at how they can rally to around player donations on top of any wage cuts or deferrals, which has already been agreed by the PFA. The PFA, now that's the Professional Footballers Association, also believes that players should not be used as scapegoats for clubs who have chosen to follow non-playing staff despite having the means to continue paying them 100% of their salary. Now, Julian Knight, who is the chairman of the Digital Culture and Media Sports Committee, labeled the Premier League a moral vacuum for using government money and believes no top 5 club should now be using the follower scheme. Okay, there's a whole lot of controversy here. If we decide to stay on the path of reasoning, we can say that why would you be using government money to pay players when you have money, when you know you have money to pay these players, especially in times like this? It's a whole lot of angles to this thing. These clubs will say they do not have money. These clubs will say they are saving for a rainy day. But then if you say you're saving for a rainy day, I think this present issue qualifies definitely as a rainy day. So everybody needs to go back to the drawing table, needs to access what exactly matters to them, and they need to understand that well, football is definitely important and all of that, but we also have to be very, very careful about what's going on. Okay, let's move down to Germany, where German Bundesliga giants Bayern Munich have handed coach Hansi Flick a new contract, keeping him at the club until 2023. Now, that was what the club said yesterday. Now, Bayern are very happy with Hansi Flick's work. The team has developed well under him, and they're playing attractive football. Now, Flick, who is a former assistant to Germany coach Joachim Löw, took the reins at Bayern in November after his predecessor Niko Kovac was sacked. Initially hired as an interim solution, the 55-year-old led Bayern from 4th back to the top of the table and was rewarded with a contract until the end of the season. His new deal will run until June 30th, 2023. I'm sure so many people would definitely disagree with Bayern in this one, saying probably Flick was just a short-term solution and he should have remained a short-term solution. I think I'll leave this conversation till tomorrow by 3 p.m. On Saturday on Sports Extra, when we can definitely discuss this one at length. Okay, let's check out some of the other sporting stories before we jet out of the studio. Well, let's start off from boxing, where Anthony Joshua's fight against Kubrat Pulev has now been postponed from June the 20th. This is due to the coronavirus outbreak. Don't forget that fight was supposed to hold at the new Tottenham Stadium, but now they're saying that you can't hold there anymore because of all the differences or all the adjustments that they will have to make. So everyone is saying, oh, let's just push everything. Also for Formula One, Nico Rosberg has come out to say that he feels that a shorter season will definitely be favorable to Max Verstappen. As far as Formula One is concerned, nobody still understands where everyone stands. Straight to tennis, where Wimbledon already has been cancelled. Everyone is looking forward to see what will happen to the French Open now. The French Open is still later, much later in the year, but with all of these postponements and all of these cancellations, anything is still possible. So we would still wait to see how exactly that won't turn out. And finally, before we go, let's say it's golf, where the open schedule is still on for July. So golf is saying that yes, senior PGA titles tours now are being cancelled, but they will be waiting till July to make a definite decision on where exactly they should go next. Okay, well, time to go on the show this morning. It's been a splendid time. Special thanks to my audio assistant for the help this morning, and to you out there who took time to stay with us since Newsbit and also Saturday Sports. We're saying a huge thank you to you, those who listen to us online, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and also those who joined us from Oluyole FM 92.1, Okego FM 96.3, and those here in the city of Ibadan listening to Oluyole FM 98.5. We're saying a huge thank you so much for being a part of this one. Don't forget, coronavirus is real. You know the do's, you know the don'ts at the moment. The 5-2-do. Wash your hands, cough in your elbows, don't touch your face. Wash your hands as many times as possible. Until I come your way 3 p.m. tomorrow on Sports Extra. Don't forget to always support sports. Take care of yourself. It's going to be fine. Bye for now.